'Tis the season to shine with H&M. Discover the holiday collection and find fashionable pieces for your wardrobe or for under the tree. Get inspired and dazzle with this year's glam. From tuxedo styles, bow detailed pieces, impressive prints, and more. From unforgettable looks to unforgettable gifts. With fashion finds to home decor, find it all at H&M. Treat your loved ones and yourself this season. Shop in-store or at hm.com.
The holidays are a time to feel and create joy. And what could be more joyous than the look on her face as she unwraps a stunning new jewelry piece from Blue Nile? How about getting 50% off your purchase? Blue Nile offers premium quality, priced below traditional retail. Their online experts are available 24/7 to answer any questions and make sure you've picked the perfect gift. For a limited time, you can get 50% off at BlueNile.com. That's 50% off at BlueNile.com.
My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer, whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this limit. My football team's
What did I say every time?
Back at it again.
Back at it again. This is the Shades of Blue Soccer Show. Cody Bradley, Thad Bell, and Robert Russert are here as always. The preseason has unofficially begun.
Thank God.
Yes, thank God, finally. The world needs it. We had some player interviews. Vermes spoke. Busio says he wants to be the man. We might not have any new players coming, but we're just going to gloss over that one real quick. First things first, we got to talk about kits. They're so hot right now. Sporting KC is like the last team to announce everyone is getting antsy, but
No
I
kidding.
think that's kind of the idea.
So Cody, you encouraged by what kits you've seen so far, or discouraged, or what are you thinking?
Well, it seems like they're trying to be a grand finale. So if they're waiting this long, I don't know. It seems like it should be pretty good. And the word on the street is that Chad likes it. The designer, the kit designer, friend of the show.
Like
Chad
he wouldn't?
is that he likes it. So that gives me confidence.
I think he said it was something like his top 5 fave, something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I stole Thad's thing there. You're the one that told me that, right, Thad?
I don't know. I don't think I told you that. I think somebody else told you that.
Oh, no.
Well, what we do know is if it's monochromatic, Thad is going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
I am
So
not
a lot of them have been a solid color.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't bother me.
I don't necessarily hate when they're monochromatic. It's just not my fave. I'm kind of
I do very much like the Swiss dots though, and that is pretty flamboyant in the opposite of just a plain white thing. It's not the easy choice. That was like a risky thing, but I really do like that one. But yes, Houston just came out with their bright orange. It is just bright orange and that's it. And hey, like I'm not bothered by that. At least they're unique by the color, you know?
Well, yeah, I don't have a problem with them being the orange and all that and kind of generic. I mean, the jersey's just plain. It's the bright orange, but it's fine. I'm okay with that. But Columbus, man, why did they go white?
Oh yeah, that
white
was an
is
odd
just
choice.
I mean, white t-shirt is just bland. No.
Especially when you have a unique color to the league. Like
Right.
use that yellow. You've got it.
You know, you make your secondary jersey something else, but go with yellow for your lighter color every single friggin' time.
Yeah.
Sporting needs to be light blue on every single time on one kit. The other one can vary somewhat, but
Yeah, somebody just convinced them that like, all right, every year in the history of this club, we can't go yellow every single time. So one jersey in our club's history can be white, I guess is what they convinced themselves.
yeah, except it won't be 1 year, it'll be 2 years.
Right, yeah.
And they won't have a yellow jersey.
So any word? What are we expecting? Are they gonna go simple? Is that what you guys are thinking? Or are they gonna go nice and flamboyant like they often do? They take risks. That's kind of why I like them. Sporting KC.
No,
You're right. You're right. They do.
I like the fact they take risks. I just don't always like it. That doesn't mean you're going to always like it. I mean, that's part of taking a risk because you're not always going to like it.
What one? We've had Chad on before, and I know we've talked about all the jerseys before, but I can't remember one specifically that you didn't like. We all agreed that the tire tracks was one that we were not fans of.
Yes.
But that
Agreed.
one aside, what's like another one what's a risk they took that you didn't like?
For me, it's the one that was basically all black.
Oh, I see. I liked it. I like black.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't mind black. I just wanted the trim, like, Adidas stripes or something to be in blue so that there were at least a connection to the color.
Well, it
A
has
lot
to be
of-
the light blue, right? Not the indigo.
I wouldn't even have minded the indigo. I mean, I think you could have. I think that would have been classy, but
It would have clashed.
it's. I don't think so.
Get your shit together, Thad. You can't go black and dark blue like that. Wouldn't work. That wouldn't work.
So what do you guys think of the white silver one they put out years ago?
Nope.
Yeah, not big. I liked the Argyle thing. I hope they like bring
Right.
that back at some point, but no, I wasn't big on that one. I like white jerseys too. That one didn't do it for me.
Yeah, the silver was not good. And it's also sometimes I think of things from a photographer point of view. Is I don't like photographing the black jersey. It was harder to pick up.
Selfish
It didn't
is
reflect
always
light.
sad.
The white jerseys reflected too much light, and the silver wasn't enough contrast on the white jerseys. So
On this topic, it sounds like Thad might have secured us another win of a guest. So I think we're gonna get Chad back on and talk once we get these things released.
yeah, he said he was more than happy. He loves coming on the pod and talking.
Who doesn't? Come on.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we had that was a good show. He's very knowledgeable. He's just been with the team for so long.
We should
And,
pimp the last year's show this week, so you could go back and listen to.
Yeah, we should
Why?
pimp it like Thad said.
Because we are pimps. That's just what we are.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely put a link out to that because we talked about some of his favorites and kits of Sporting KC past, which I'm sure we'll do again. But yeah, I'll definitely pimp it out again.
But it was
So
Hey,
the
give me a
shorter
better
than usual
term.
pod, the shorter than usual pod is getting long.
No, I don't have too much on here. So it's unofficially begun, as in they're not technically in preseason right now. It is voluntarily training every day, but they're all in the same spot. Is that the case?
if they've quarantined, they can be training in the same spot. So they had to have already quarantined. So
Oh, right.
it looked like the vast majority of them are.
But
and-
but there's an official quarantine period for 7 days that started on the 1st, right?
If they could voluntarily be here early and have
Right.
quarantined.
Oh,
So it looks like most of them did already.
yeah.
They've already quarantined. That's why they can
that's
train
right.
together.
Okay. Yeah.
Nice tweet they put out today with that little goal scoring series. That was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I meant to actually look at that again.
Yeah, we got
Shallowy had a nice one, and of course Bledo Russell had the biggest banger. But that was pretty awesome.
what a refresher. It's so refreshing to have like actual, even a lot of times it's B-roll. They put out a couple like B-roll of all of this training. And yeah, it's just good. They're on the field, like the boys are back. It's good. It feels good.
Like even Ilya scored.
Ilya got a goal.
Hey, now he even showboated a little bit afterwards. Little bragging.
So from all of these press conferences we've had so far, Polito had one today, and I was kind of distracted by the interpreter, by the translator, I guess, not interpreter. She was like, got confused a couple times, and yeah, but it was good to hear Polito talk. He mentioned that he has goals, and he wants to continue setting goals and fulfilling those goals. He said that like in every single question. But it was good to hear him talk. But I think the one we need to discuss at least is Busio's. He was asked the question a couple times. He didn't say it the first time, but after the second time, he was like, "Yeah, he wants to be the guy." He said it. That was the quote people were like looking for, as everyone asked him that he wanted to be the guy. Yes, that was one of those people as he raises his arms in triumph. Yeah, so he said it. He wants to be the guy. Can he be the guy? Do we think he can be the guy?
Well, we got Failhaber. I thought it was kind of funny. Failhaber said, I'm probably the best player to wear 10 here. So
Well, of course he did.
I don't know. Did they purposely bring Failhaber in to help Busio along with that? I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah,
But
good
still,
good transition. It's a good, yeah, I like it. It's a good idea to help him usher Busio in.
And people should go back and listen to the Failhaber show that we had a couple weeks ago. So
There you go.
yes,
That's
yes, they
pimping
should.
all of them out. Yeah, so that I don't know. That was good to hear the youngin talk like that. Somebody also asked a question about how he's been around for years now at this point. So he's one of the young guys, but he's also an experienced guy that can help them in. Oh, who asked that? I think it was Thad again. As he raises his arms in triumph once again. Yeah, that's cool to hear him talk like that. He seems confident. He sounded like there was even maybe some preparation for in the off season of getting ready for this role. So yeah, I'm pumped. Give him the keys. Play the kids, right? Everyone wants to play the kids. Play the kids.
yeah, but whenever it gets down to the point that you have all kids, everybody's afraid that you don't have the veteran leadership.
I know.
The experienced guys. There's no like middle road.
I guess not.
But no, I mean, the first line that Busio says is probably my favorite. He said, "This year is more of a takeover mentality." You
Yeah.
go for it, Gianluca.
Yeah.
We'd love to see that.
Yeah, he said he was working on attacking skills in the off season.
I saw a comment today. Where was that? Oh, it was on Reddit. Somebody posted the tweet of Sporting announcing that Busio was the 10. They posted that on the US soccer subreddit like 2 weeks after the fact. And so some people were talking about, and someone just like jumped out and said like he's objectively better as the 6 rather than a number 10 or a 6 or an 8, I think they said. And it's like, yeah, good point. He played very well in that role. He obviously did, but we also have seen him way more in that role. That's where we saw him all last year, where he got his most consistent playing time. So we've just seen more of him in that role. We've seen some very impressive moments in an advanced role in some of his first games. Though he had those highlight assists and like things like that. So
two of his best moments was as the 6 when he was like probably the second game in, he was quickly comfortable there. But the other best moment I think was when he was kind of right behind Polito and feeding Polito, and that was a really dangerous combination. That I don't know if it was the opponent that day, or I don't know if it was just clicking. And unfortunately, they didn't seem to be in the right spots at the right time most of the rest of the season for that. But when they were, that was a beautiful connection.
Yeah, and what his first assist was when he was playing in the attacking midfielder spot, or maybe even as a winger. That like flick on that he had to was that Rubio? He like flicked it onto Rubio for his first assist for like a match winner. Yeah, we've seen him do a lot of good in an advanced role, and yes, we saw him be good in the back, but maybe that's just because he's a freaking badass and he's gonna be good everywhere he plays.
Now he's played 10 for like the national team, like U15, 17, 20s, whatever they were.
Yeah.
And I will say he didn't do great there, but he also seemed to be a step ahead of the other people when I was watching it. Now, some of those guys have maybe passed him up for, being credited with good play in MLS and stuff like that. But it seemed like he was making the passes that the guys weren't making the runs to. Where he was already seeing stuff that he would have made a pass to Johnny Russell or, somebody like that, and they weren't doing it. So I don't know. I've seen people say he's not a 10 and he's more of an 8. He could be better at a 6. I don't care, man. Get him on the field.
Yeah, I agree. It's time.
Yeah, I mean, one of the qualities that those players have is they exude confidence, and I haven't seen that personally from Busio. I've seen a little bit of it, but he really needs to step that up and just be bold out there. I think part of his quote is that, I've got to be the guy that's not afraid to go out there and make some mistakes. And that's true too. Those players, not everything they do comes off. And if it doesn't, that's okay. You can't let that deter you. You got to keep going and still be confident and still be a little bit cocky. And hey, well, I've got some skills.
That point for sure, that of course that happens to even, the best number 10s, but that's just good to hear a young guy like get that very key thing through their head and even understand
Right.
it. Just no matter where you are on the field as a young player, that's a thing that is going to hold a lot of them back. Like they got their moment, they're nervous, they don't want to mess something up, but it's good that he knows he has to, play the way he's always played, and that's what's made him successful. So yeah, that confidence is great. That's great to hear. But the reason we are having to lean on him so much is because there has not been a new addition in the attack, but some key departures. And it seemed like in this recent press conference, his press availability with Vermes, that he was indicating, this is it. We're starting the season with these guys. He wants to see what the guys he's got have. And yeah, I'm sure they have things they're working on right now. Like as he always says, they are always and forever working to bring in new players. But it doesn't sound like they think anything's going to happen here before the season. And I know that's disappointing to a lot of people and kind of myself.
But you got to give these guys, there's so many fresh faces, young faces on the team. You got to give them room and see what they can do,
Yeah, I guess even if you did have, a guy on the hook that you're really excited about on as a left winger that you're bringing in, you would still say that in your preseason to
well, yeah, sure,
to kick these young guys in the ass. And yeah.
And the thing is, if you brought another guy into the midfield, then you're competing against Busio, Kinda, Espinoza, Walters, and Ilya, and Hernandez, and Duke, and et cetera on down the line, who just is the odd man out, or well, even up there, which is where I would like to have another competition for a winger spot. You at least have a nice starting line: Shelton, Polito, and Russell, and then several other guys behind that: Harris, Barber, Duke, Shallowy, who looked good in the little clip today.
It's his last chance, guys. It's got to be, right?
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is.
His contract's up, isn't it?
I believe so, after this year.
Yeah.
There might be options, but they wouldn't necessarily pick it up if he doesn't pick up the scoring pace and make more of an impact when he has an opportunity.
Yeah. So, okay. Can I ask a question?
You can ask a question.
All righty. Agree or disagree? I think personally, Remy Walter is the key to a lot of things. If he can solidify that midfield, get a little more bite, if he can, be Rogers' heir and grow into that position, or Ilya's heir and grow into that position, whichever. I guess Peter's really been talking about the 6 more than Rogers, but I think that changes a lot. I think even more than arguably, Polito having a great season. He can still have a good season, but if that midfield is really solidified and Busio can grow into his role, I think Walter's the key to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, we're hoping he is the key. I guess is the thing. That would be huge if he is the key.
Yeah.
But I still feel like it's more Nim, as Thad calls him, on the back line. I think that one would be more key, because I know Ilya had maybe a down season. He wasn't as good as he was the years prior to that, but I still think he can have a good season in that spot. And if Remy Walter just turns out to be a horrible player and can't do MLS at all, at least he is there, and Busio can also play that role. But no, I truly feel like the defense took a huge step back last year. And yes, you're right about Polito. He can, if he just does what he does, it won't mean anything if we can't prevent the other team from scoring. So I'm big on he's the biggest key for me, I think.
Yeah, I think it's Walter for me, because I think that defense really has been put on a lot of pressure in the back line, because the midfield defense, the midfield unit hasn't been as whole, as together, as strong as it needs to be. Yeah, and maybe if Walter can change that, then that helps the back line.
Very true. Very true.
It all it's all a sum of the parts, where any part weakens the next part if they're not doing their job as well as they did before. So Ilya wasn't necessarily as good, so that led to the backline not being as good. But the backline not being as good could have been affecting Ilya in his position, and then the rest of the midfielders not being as. It's all that, like, I mean, I know sometimes we'll discuss this in other ways, but people will say, I think this player needs to be on the field. Well, that player may not complement the rest of the team as well as a different player. That
Right.
individual might be better, but he doesn't fit in as well. And it's that whole team. And that's one reason PV will run out the same 11 time after time after time, because they work well together. And you can argue about needing more rotation and all that stuff. And it's there's validity to a lot of that, but that's one reason he'll run those same 11 out there, is because they work well together. If they don't, then he's changing it up. It's that always that argument for me is like the speed around what we had the last couple of years wasn't there, so we didn't have enough speed. So,
Right.
Beasler could still be a starting center back in this core if he has a speedier guy next to him and on the outside. And Ilya needs a guy that has some speed and some bite, near him, so he can pick up balls and and make those passes. It all jumbles together. Who knows how it's going to work when he finally puts them all out there?
And that's what preseason's a lot about. And we're going to find that out in the next couple of weeks, right?
We do get to find out soon. So, all right, we're going to get out of here. If there was a pause or a break in the audio in the middle of this podcast, I'm very sorry. Apparently, my internet clipped out for a very brief second, so I couldn't hear them for like a solid 5 seconds there in the middle. I don't know if it'll record like that, but we'll see. I'm sorry if that happens. Quarantine world, this is what happens. So, we'll get out of here. I think we're going to be back with Chad of Sporting Kansas City, Chad of KC, as he's known on Twitter. Chad from KC? Oh, yeah, I got that
From,
right.
yes,
from
from.
KC. There you go. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. We'll be back whenever the kit drops with him. And, we'll talk soon. Go Sporting!
Ooh.
Don't seem so tough. And 3 own goals ain't all that rough. Our skipper has just been sent off. Supporters strong have all gone soft. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. Give me beer or whiskey, wine or gin, anything to shake this mood I'm in. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking. My football team's got me drinking.